Good morning. We are back with more on solutions. This is Solutions 102, and what we're talking about today is a little bit more about double replacement reactions. And your assignment is to work on the AP Solutions 2, and that's a worksheet. So here we go. We want to establish to start with something that we've observed in lab, and that is when two ionic substances are mixed, sometimes a solid is created. So we want to write that down. When two ionic substances, aqueous, are mixed, sometimes a solid is created. So we have two solutions poured together and we get a solid substance out of those two solutions. And that solid is called a precipitate. Okay, so let me give you a for instance here. Let's say that we have a solution, we'll say sodium chloride, and these are aqueous, so they're floating around in solution. And then over here we would have maybe lead 2 nitrate. So those are both aqueous solutions. They would appear, in these cases, they would appear to look just like water. And then we would pour them together into a common container. And what happens is that down at the bottom we get this solid precipitate, and this is lead 2 chloride. And the reason that we know this is because lead 2 chloride is insoluble. And then we would have some spectator ions running around out here in solution, which would be sodium and nitrate. Okay, so what you want to remember is that when a substance is insoluble, that pen's dead. When a substance is insoluble, then it will precipitate as a solid. Okay, so in this case, the lead and the chloride, when they got into a common solution, got together and made the solid here down at the bottom. So this is a solid. And then we still have sodium and nitrate as aqueous substances out in the solution. Okay, and if a substance is soluble, then it will remain aqueous. So those are two things that you want to remember. If it's insoluble, it's going to precipitate as a solid, and if it's soluble, it will remain aqueous. So this overall, these are called double replacement reactions. Or precipitate reactions. And their general form, of course, you guys know this, looks like AD plus CB. So what's going on is the ions are switching who they're partnered with. If we use AB as sodium chloride and CD as lead 2 nitrate, then they switch partners and we end up with the lead 2 chloride here and the sodium nitrate aqueous. Okay, so we know this is called a precipitation reaction, and we can represent double replacement reactions with 3 different kinds of reactions or equations. Okay, and those types of equations are, number 1 is molecular, number 2 is a complete ionic, and number 3 is a net ionic equation. You'll also hear complete ionic called total ionic equation. So we have molecular, complete, and net ionic equations that we can represent a double replacement reaction with. And this was part 1, and coming up in part 2, I'll explain each one of those types of reactions.